Marcus, thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking the time to speak to us today. It can sometimes be a difficult thing to talk about when you're diagnosed with an illness. How have you been feeling since you were diagnosed with motor neuron disease?
Fine. I mean, the first week or so was a bit difficult, as you can imagine. But and telling people, close family and friends, how to go about that was quite hard. Um, but in general, since those times, I've been all right. I'm a pretty positive guy anyway. So um, I think that's stuck with me through all my career. I've always been seeing things half full, not half empty. And that's how I look at this, really. So it's just getting on with my life like normal.
What was it that prompted you to get checked out or to go to to see your GP in the first place?
It was in lockdown. I was doing, everyone was doing what they could to keep themselves fit or um, deal with mental health issues, and keep themselves busy really because it was quite a boring time, wasn't it? So I was doing workouts at home, and I realised I was doing pull-ups, and I realised my left hand kept coming off the bar when I was pulling up, and it just didn't seem right. It wasn't because I was, it's fatigue. This was after about two or three pull-ups, and it just kept coming off. So it just didn't feel right. Then I looked at my arm, and it just looked a lot more skinnier than my right arm. And it should be the other way around because I'm left-handed. So that should be my dominant side. And from then it just went from there really, all the tests and stuff. So um, that's how I found out. Well, not found out, but that's how I realised something wasn't right.
You've said that you're very positive about it. Is that how you're going to tackle this? Is that your outlook going forward? Is just be positive and whatever happens will happen.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. You got to live in the moment, and not every MND suffer warrior sufferer, whatever you want to call them, call us. We're not. Everyone's different, and I seem to be pretty slow. And generally, when it stays slow, it stays slow. So from my last um, meeting with the neurologist, which was in June, nothing's really progressed, and she was really happy. So let's hope that continues, and it should do. And the problem's still in my left arm and nowhere else in my body at the moment. So I'm just getting on with life as normal until I can. Um, so yeah, I'm just getting on with it, and I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to Christmas, if I'm honest.
You said it there. Motor neuron disease can affect every sufferer in a different way, whether it be quick, whether it be slow. It's like you said there, just your left arm. Is that the only way it's affecting your life at the moment?
Yeah, it is, and in terms of gripping stuff and trying to pick cups up and do my buttons up, do my zip up on a jacket can be quite hard. The colder it is, obviously, the harder it is to do things with that hand. But you got to find a way around it, and that's what I've got to do. Speaking to Stephen Darby, when I met him a few months ago, we stay in contact quite a lot. His advice was, Marcus, you just have to adapt to things as it goes along, and as it is at the moment for me, I'm adapting to trying to do different things with my right hand. Because I say I'm left hand, I'm dominated by my left hand. I can't write with my left hand because I can't really grip a pen. So it looks like a little kid's writing. So I've got to adapt to that, and I generally take notes now on my phone. My wife is writing the Christmas cards out, which saves me a job, which is great. So no, it's about adapting to what's around the corner. And at the moment, let's hope there's nothing around the corner that's going to affect my body. But as it stands, it's just my left hand, and I've got to adapt to that, and I have done.
You mentioned Stephen Darby there, of course, and part of our Boxing Day game against Portsmouth and your fundraiser is raising money for the Derby Rimmer Foundation. Just talk a little bit about what work they do and how they've been supporting you so far.
they've been great, psychologically. And I've gone to see him a few times. My wife speaks to his wife. I speak to his wife. So they've been great. So obviously, just support in general, really, in terms of, I've got a different. I had teammates back when I was playing. Now I have a different set of teammates. So I see it as I've kind of made it my job to speak to people who've got MND, and Stephen's one of those. So and there's other people I speak to, which we'll come on to later on as well. But I'm doing a bike ride tomorrow for Mark Williams, who's got MND. And I'm going with him. Sorry, it's not for him; it's for his friend who's got MND, and they still go to the gym. They're still active. So I'm doing that tomorrow. I've never met the guy. I've exchanged loads of text messages with him, and I will look forward to meeting him and his friends tomorrow. So I'm doing that, and the different community. The community is great. We all kind of chat to each other. I must admit, I must have had 10 to 15 people that I haven't known before that have got MND, and we text each other quite a lot. I'd like to try and meet them all, but I can't. Maybe hopefully one day that can happen. Some are a bit further along than I am in terms of symptoms. Some are similar to me. So I'm enjoying doing that at the moment, and helping support people, and people support me. In terms of what Derby Rimmer do, they obviously make awareness. They give equipment to people that can't afford the equipment, and they raise money for helping the scientists. So there's a lot of things they do. But what I would say is it's not just about Derby Rimmer. The MNDA do it as well. Obviously, Dolly Weir's charity does it. Kevin Sinfield's been raising funds, and we're all in it together. It's not one charity against the other. And that's what I found with the rest of the charities that I've come across, and the people I've spoken to that head up those charities. We're all helping each other out because we all want the same goal, and we're all doing similar things, really, just trying to raise money to find a cure for this disease.
When you revealed your diagnosis, I think back in October, the footballing world really got behind you. We wore T-shirts at Forest Green, Yeovil and Bristol Rovers did the same. What did it mean to you to have so much support from not just your former clubs, but other clubs as well?
Yeah, of course it meant a lot. I remember speaking to Stephen about it, actually. And I spoke to him and said, what do I expect, when this happens? He said, Marcus, you're just going to be overwhelmed by the amount of people that will contact you and try and support you. And he was right. And, the first month or two, going on to 1,000 to 2,000 text messages, emails. And I tried to reply to everyone, really. So, yeah, it was overwhelming. And it's hard to control your emotions in those times and stay positive, if that makes sense. But it's a nice feeling that people are thinking about you, especially your old clubs that you like to think you have a bit of history with, that you did okay with as a player. So, but now that's kind of settled down a bit, Craig. So, but it's nice. It's about now getting the right events out there, but at the right time. I don't want everything squashed into 1 month and then it loses its effect and people aren't going to donate to the charities. So we're trying to space things out so it actually it goes a bit quiet, and then we're going to pick it up again. So that's what I'm trying to do, because so many people want to get involved and help, and I really appreciate that. But I'm trying to explain to them that it's about the timing. I know you want to help. I mean, some guy, an old player of mine, Delroy Facey at Huddersfield, he contacted me yesterday about a charity game he wants to do at Huddersfield, and I said, listen, Delroy, I've got a charity game in the summer already, so maybe we can do something the summer after. It's about spreading it out, because people won't donate, and people are finding it hard at the moment, with the times we're going through, with the cost of living going up. So we can't keep asking people for money every 2 weeks when there's obviously other more important things to them.
Like you say there, times are tough, aren't they? And I think what we're going to do, as you know, what we're doing on Boxing Day at the Portsmouth game is raising awareness of your charity. But but we're not asking. We don't want to make people feel pressured that they have to donate. And if they aren't able to support financially, we just ask that they can help raise awareness and spread the message of what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, Exeter, it's always been a classy club. From the first time I went there with Tiz and obviously Julian Tagg were there, Steve Perryman. The club just oozed class, and it doesn't surprise me that they're doing this on Boxing Day. And that's obviously appreciated because it's Christmas, right on top of Christmas as well. And like I said, everyone wants to help, and the time of this is right. So I appreciate what they're doing. Although it's not for me personally, it's for the MND community. That's how I see it. And the awareness out there at the moment is amazing. There's loads of it. Kevin Sinfield is, I've said that, having a whole new teammates. Rob Burrows is a manager and Kevin Sinfield's the captain in my eyes. So those guys are raising awareness, of course. And if we can do that at Exeter and do our little bit down south, because obviously Kevin played rugby league and Rob Burrows did. And that's more of a northern sport, as we all know. So if we can do our bit down south and help raise as much awareness as we can, and in the football community as well, that'd be brilliant. Because, like I say, Exeter had a promotion with them. I know they got promoted the end of last season. But obviously, the last team to do that was Tiz's team with some great players. I mean, I came into that club and I was a senior player, and I understood my role within that team, along with Rob Edwards, who was another senior player. It was our job really to be coaches on the pitch, and we were lucky as senior players that we had some really good young players coming through. To name a couple: George Fenn, Dean Moxey, Liam Sercombe, Dan Seaborn, to name a few, and there's others. Obviously, Matty Taylor, who became manager at the club. So we had a really good group of young lads, and Tiz got it right with us senior players, because I think senior players play a massive role within the team environment, and I think me and Rob done that quite well.
I think some of those names you've said there is bringing it all back for some City fans of old. I've been in contact with your wife, Lou, about Boxing Day for a few months now, and we've spoken to Stephen Darby as well, but it's taken on an extra significance in the last few days following Pete Evely from the Exeter City Community Trust's diagnosis of MND. I understand you've been in contact with Pete, but like I said, extra significance that another member of the Exeter City family is suffering, and again, we want to help him as well.
Yeah, I mean, Pete texted me about a week ago, and obviously didn't know him, but I felt immediately that I should give him a call when I could, and I did almost within a day or hours. And we had a good chat, and I kind of, he didn't know what to expect. That's the thing. He's 30 years old, got a child, got a wife, and he didn't know what to expect. So I just gave him some tasks, really. I just said, listen, get these done, get that done, keep yourself busy. I'm always here on the phone, whether it's a text or whatever. If you need any not advice, because I'm not an expert in MND, but I like to think I can help people and keep them positive in some sort of way. So I just gave him a task, really, to get one or two things done. And you're like, at the moment, my wife knows more than me, so bear with me with this. There are some supplements online that are natural, that I've been using, that Stephen Darby was recommended when he went to Boston in America, into the MND society there. So I've been taking those supplements. So I just told him to get some. So he was texting me pictures of these are the right ones, these are the right ones. So I didn't know if they were right ones or not, because I just give them at night by my wife or in the morning. So I kept asking my wife, yeah, these are the ones, these are the ones. So I've just tried to help him in things like that, really. And hopefully at some point there'll be trials going on, and we'll both get involved in those. But no, it's just one phone conversation, a few texts. He knows I'm here. I know he's there. he's got a life to live, and I just told him to live it and just do what you can while you can. Ed Slater came up with something great when he first been diagnosed, and it's a rugby term because my boys play rugby as well, and I kind of get it, and it's use it until you lose it, in a rugby term. So and I kind of take that on. I'm going to use my body until I lose it, and that's what you got to do. So that's what I was kind of saying to Peter. Really, just use everything you've got until you can, and get on with life, live normally.
Seems like a good message to end on there. But before we do, what is your message to people on why they should be getting behind our cause on Boxing Day, both for yourself and for Pete? Because you've of course got Team Stewart and Team Evo.
Listen, we're so close to a cure or a big breakthrough, and hopefully in the next 5 years that will be the case. But obviously, without donations, without awareness, this isn't going to happen. And 6 people a day are diagnosed with MND, and 5 to 6 people a day die of it. So that's a lot of people. So let's try and get a cure. And that's the main thing for me. It's getting a cure, getting a breakthrough, and if not a cure, something that can treat it and stop it progressing.
Marcus, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me, and everyone at the football club wishes you all the very best, and we hope to see you very soon back at SJP.
Thank you very much. Have a great Christmas, everyone, and I hope the game goes well on Boxing Day. Thank you.